For most people, the jungle is a place of mystery and danger, a land teeming with wild animals, unpredictable weather, and the unknown. But for one man, it was home for 2 decades. This is the incredible story of Daniel Carter, a man who survived alone in the depths of the Amazon rainforest for 20 years, cut off from civilization and thriving against all odds. Daniel Carter was an American adventurer with a love for nature. In 1995, he set off on an expedition to the Amazon with a small team of explorers. Their goal was to document the region's rare wildlife and indigenous cultures. However, disaster struck when their boat capsized in a raging river during a storm. Carter was separated from the group, dragged away by the strong currents, and ultimately stranded deep in the jungle. Search parties looked for weeks, but he was never found. Eventually, he was declared dead. But Daniel was very much alive. With no way to communicate with the outside world, he had only one choice: survive. At first, Daniel struggled to cope with his new reality. He had no survival training, no weapons, and no idea where he was. The jungle was relentless, filled with predators, venomous creatures, and diseases. Every day was a battle to find food, clean water, and shelter. He learned by observing nature. He discovered which plants were edible, how to hunt small animals, and where to find fresh water. Using vines and tree bark, he crafted tools and built a makeshift shelter. He endured snake bites, mosquito swarms, and the threat of jaguars lurking in the shadows. Despite the hardships, he adapted. He became attuned to the jungle's rhythm, waking up with the birds and sleeping under the stars. He learned to blend in, understanding the sounds and movements of the creatures around him. Over time, he became one with his environment. One of the turning points in Daniel's survival came when he encountered a remote indigenous tribe. Initially wary of him, the tribe slowly accepted him after he demonstrated respect for their customs. They taught him advanced survival techniques, including how to make fire without matches, create fishing traps, and identify medicinal plants. Daniel formed strong bonds with the tribe, even learning their language. He became a part of their community, sharing their food and participating in their rituals. Yet, a part of him always yearned to return home. 20 years later, in 2015, a group of researchers stumbled upon Daniel while documenting the biodiversity of the Amazon. They were stunned to hear his story. With their help, he finally returned to civilization, a world he had not seen for 2 decades. His reappearance was met with shock and disbelief. He had been presumed dead, yet here he was, standing before the world, a living legend. The transition back to modern life was not easy. Everything had changed: technology, society, even his own family had moved on. But despite the challenges, Daniel found a way to reintegrate while never forgetting the jungle that had shaped him. Returning to civilization was one of the hardest parts of Daniel's journey. He struggled with things that most people took for granted: electric lights, cars, supermarkets, and even conversations. The noise, the pace, and the expectations of modern life overwhelmed him at first. With the help of psychologists and survival experts, he slowly reintegrated into society. He began to share his story through interviews, books, and public speaking engagements. People were fascinated by his survival skills, his philosophy of life, and his insights into living with nature rather than against it. Lessons from the jungle. Daniel's story is more than just one of survival, it's a lesson in resilience, adaptability, and the strength of the human spirit. He learned to appreciate the simple things in life: clean water, fresh food, and companionship. He also developed a deep respect for nature, advocating for the protection of rainforests and indigenous cultures. His experience taught him patience, self-reliance, and the importance of mindfulness. He often spoke about how the jungle forced him to live in the moment, free from distractions and artificial pressures. These lessons helped him navigate modern life with a unique perspective. Instead of retreating into obscurity, Daniel dedicated his life to sharing his story and promoting environmental awareness. He worked with conservation groups, helped document indigenous knowledge, and even returned to the Amazon several times to reconnect with the tribe that once saved him. He founded a foundation to protect the Amazon rainforest and educate people about sustainable living. Through his work, he hoped to bridge the gap between modern civilization and the natural world, showing that humans and nature can coexist in harmony. Daniel Carter's incredible survival is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. His journey teaches us about the power of adaptability, the importance of respecting nature, and the extraordinary strength that lies within us when faced with the impossible. His story remains one of the most remarkable tales of survival ever recorded, a true testament to human endurance, courage, and the will to live. Even after returning to civilization, the jungle remained a part of him, shaping his outlook on life and inspiring generations to come. The man who lived in the jungle for 20 years had not just survived, he had thrived. His unbelievable story is a powerful reminder that when faced with adversity, the human spirit can overcome even the harshest of environments.